Now it is.
Thank you.
Okay, the first question is, what is a horoscope? We'll have this exam till 30 minutes or at least 45 minutes. Then we will proceed with the next class. Usually we'll have the two classes of the revision. I skip the revision. Why am I doing this? Okay, wait. I skip the revision classes and directly getting into the next part of the session because I believe we had the revision class in between. We didn't have the bulk revision at the end like this 2 weeks. So we had a revision at least once I feel we have to revise the lesson. So that's why I skip these two revision classes, directly jumping into the next part of the course. Is that okay to everybody, or you want to revise at least once? Yes.
If time permits, Vanita, I would like revision because it helps in just going through things.
Okay, we'll do that.
If
Then.
time permits, of course, you have to see.
Yeah, okay. Let's see the quiz first. Once we get an understanding, we most of the time when we see the question, first thing we may feel like we know the answer. Sometimes we feel like we don't know the answer. That's totally fine. The first question of the today's quiz is, what is the horoscope? Nina, I think Nina added the answer as diagram of this world where we can the first placed when your time of the birth. Is there anybody want to add any answers to this question? In your birth chart, how many boxes will be there? I simplified the question.
12.
12 houses, 12 sciences will be there, right? Every birth chart will have the 12 boxes that representing the 12 rasis. So one box will contain how many degrees?
Vanita, can you mute everyone? There is some noise coming from one.
Oh, okay. Now the one box will contain how many degrees? It's a 360-degree view, right? Imagine
30.
you are 30 degree. You are born in this world, and the top of the head, it was the 360 degree. So that is the snapshot when you are born. At this moment, when you are born, where the planets are placed in the universe. That is your horoscope. That contains the 12 rasis. Every rasis will have 30 degrees. So totally 360 degrees. So this one is based on which movement? Movement of the sun or movement of the moon?
Sun.
It's a movement of the sun. So the each house 30 degree based on the movement of the sun only. Okay. Based on the movement of the sun, what in your horoscope you have to be defined based on the movement of the sun. First thing you have to define what is that in your birth chart. The starting point you have to define, right? What is the starting point named as?
Where was the sun at the time
Where
of
was
birth?
eastern horizon? The sun will be rise, right? That is the moment when you are born. So that is pointing as the lagna point. So when you are seeing the horoscope is nothing but exact position of the grahas when at the time of your birth, and it has the 12 rasis where the grahas will be mentioned, each having the 30 degrees, and the 30 degrees is all based on the sun movement. The lagna is marked. Okay. If you want to add any answer to this question, if you didn't answer, I feel like I didn't teach anything to you.
I think that is
Okay.
clear, Vanita.
Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is interesting. What is ascendant or what is lagna? In your point of view, don't worry about whatever we learned or you mark up. Leave everything, whatever just comes into your mind.
Wherever sun was placed at the time of birth.
No.
The rising star on the horizon at the time of birth.
In your birth chart, the sun can be placed anywhere. The sun represents one value. What does that sun represent? Okay, as you answer this question like that, okay, imagine in your birth chart, the sun was placed. When the sun was placed, what is it representing? Okay, in your chart, the moon was placed in one of the Rashis, right? What is that moon represent?
Rashi.
Represent
Rashi.
your Rashis, right? The same thing goes for the sun also. The sun, which is in any of the 12 boxes, sun was in one position. It gives one value. What is that?
Lagna. Position. First house.
No. The
No, no, no.
rising sign is the first house. That's we are going to come into this answer. Ascendant is nothing but the eastern horizon. See, when you are born at this point in time, it's revolving, it's all around the time. But at the moment when you are born, even you can born in the night, midnight, or in the mid-noon or in the evening. But that moment when you are born, where is the eastern horizon was pointing? That becomes your Lagna point, correct? But at the same time, the Lagna can be placed in any of the 12 Rasis. But that 12 Rasis, when the sun was placed at one Rasi, it represents one value. What is that?
Rashi.
Moon representing your Rashi. Sun representing? Okay, take your
Lagna.
birth chart in your hand.
Date
Take your
of birth. Date of birth.
yeah, somewhat related. Take your birth chart. In the birth chart, find the sun. Okay, I'm from my birth chart. I will tell you. My sun is my Lagna is the Tula Lagna. My sun is in the Kumbha Rasi. I born in the month of February. How it is related?
Okay. Dakshinayana, Uttarayana. Is that something? No. Okay.
Wherever the sun that represents the month of your born. Check with your birth chart. Have your birth chart handy. Find the sun position. And check the month also. Which month you born? Is that related?
How do we relate that to the month?
Okay, where is your Lagna? Which is your Lagna?
Let's say it is in Aquarius.
Which one?
Aquarius. Kumbha.
Aquarius, Kumbha Rasi. And where the sun was placed.
Oh, sorry. You're asking where the Lagna is. Okay. Lagna is in Kataka.
Okay, Lagna is Kadaka, where the sun is.
Sun is in Kumbha.
Okay, then are you born on the February month?
Yeah. So how do you arrive at February now?
Okay,
sun
that's
signs,
what
right? Based on the
every
month, the sun sign.
yeah. You remember the sun takes 30 days to move from one Rashi to another Rashi, correct? Every graha have some kind of number of the days to finish one Rasi to move to another Rasi. Sun takes 30 days. Moon takes 2.25 days, 2 days, quarter days to finish one Rasi, move to the next one. So like that, when the sun starting the travel from the Mesha Rasi, that is your beginning of the year, but it's not the January
So
month.
Mesha will not always map to January, right? So how will you calculate the month?
No. That's what I'm telling. Mesha, it's not the January.
Yeah.
In Tamil, we call it as a Chitra Masam. Chitra is the beginning
Chaitra.
of the month, beginning of the year. That's approximately it comes in the middle of the April, mid of the April to May. So the April 15 to May 15 is comes around like that. Wherever you are celebrating the Tamil New Year that time, that begins the beginning of that year. I will show you the chart later on also how the month we are going to we are going to calculate based on the sun's position. So every month comes around one month. April, May, June, July. That's why when it was
As per the Hindu calendar, we can take the starting point of the sun, right? As per the Hindu calendar. That is from Chaitra, Vaishaka, Jyeshtha, like that, we see the sun's ascendant.
No, my
No.
question was looking at your chart and looking at where sun is placed, how do I identify which month it is?
That's what I'm telling. The Mesha is the beginning of the month. The month is not the January month. The month is the April. I will tell you the beginning and the end
So
of
we
the
have to
month
map
also.
Mesha to April, and that way we have to traverse.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
got it.
I have to becomes for every Rashi. Then when it comes into the Kumbha, definitely the February. How I know? Because I also born on February.
No,
The-
but this one, I think there is a change. It is in March, actually. Okay. So maybe
That's
because
why
of that half month. Yeah.
Yeah, half of March and
Yeah.
March 15 to February 15. There is
That
an,
is why.
it's
Okay.
not between the exact our English calendars we are using. I'll tell you the date also later on. Okay.
Vanita, this does match the Western astrological signs, right? The date of birth. So if you're born in October, you can either be Libra, that is Thula, or Scorpio, that is Vrishchika. That's how it is, right?
This is the question.
If you're born in October,
you're born in
the sun will either be in Thula or Vrishchika. Okay.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
So the
correct.
Western astrology, when you look into the Western astrology, it's like Thula will be Libra. Libra starts somewhere mid of September to October, mid of October.
Wait a second.
And the next.
Wait a second. There is the one difference between these two. I don't know exactly about the Western astrology, how it was making the starting point of the thing. But when it comes into the Vedic astrology, all the movements are based on the sun. There are also division of the astrology where based on the moon movement also. They call this a lunar astrology. Maybe that may be called as the Western astrology. I'm not sure about that. But the lunar astrology and the solar astrology are totally different. Why? Because movement of the particular graha. Here, whatever we are studying now, it's based on the sun movement. Wherever the sun goes.
Western astrology is basically sun signs. Based on your sun sign is how it is.
I'm really not sure about that, how the Western astrology will be. So I'm not the right person to comment on that.
Okay.
So Vinita, just to sum up, we are saying that the sun, the position of the sun is where the month of where we are born.
Vanita, one minute. Vanita, 1 minute. This Mesha, then it comes in the month. Then Mesha, what consider April?
Mid-April to mid-May.
Wait a second, I will show you first. Yeah, now I understand. I have to revise this first, then I come back to this question. Okay, we'll revise it first. We'll have this question
Yes,
later.
Mesha is from April 15th to May 15th, roughly.
Yeah. So if you map it up like that, then we can go by easily which month.
Roughly in the middle of the month, the Rashi changes.
Possibly it is in the middle of the month. Once again, let me see. Why that? Find it. Yes, again. I'm going to share this one. Okay, who are asking about the Western sun sign? This is the difference between the both of them. But I really have no knowledge about the Western thing. But when it comes into Vedic astrology, this is the starting date and the ending date of that. When it was in the sun was in an Aries, then definitely if you are born between the date of April 14 to May 15. Same goes for every Rashi. So when I ask you to about what is the month you are born when you are in a Kumbha, most of the time it's come if you are born between the February 13 to March 14, definitely you are in the Kumbha Rashi. The sun is in the Kumbha Rashi only. You got this point?
Vanita, 1 minute. Here, what I find, usually suppose in the let us take Sagittarius. It is in the both in the Sagittarius. It is November and Sagittarius. Both it is in the December, November, December. But it is not so like that. See, mine is December, but as per this Sagittarius, but as per my chart, it is Kanya Rashi. So as per moon,
No,
it's
no.
Kanya Rashi.
Rashi is different. Okay, Rashi is where your moon is placed.
Ah.
Sun representing your month of born. Is that a confusion there?
No, no,
Okay,
what I'm
where
saying
is
it is
reference-
clear.
no,
where
no,
is your
what I'm
sun
saying-
in your chart?
Well, I'll find out. Just I'll find out.
Should be December. That's Dhanu Rashi. December 4th. If it is December 4th, it will be in Sagittarius. That is the Vrishchika. I'm sorry. Yes. From December 15th to January 15th, it will be Dhanu Rashi. Before that, it will be Vrishchika.
When in the time of he is coming back with the dates, we'll move on to the other one.
My son, many times my son is in Sagittarius.
Oh, okay, which day? What is your date of birth? I'll be lost in.
The difference between Western and Vedic is the Ayanamsha, which is 22.5 degrees, 22 degrees roughly.
Oh,
So 22 days difference between, because we use Vedic uses Nirayana system and the Western uses Sayana system.
Okay, when he come back with the answer, I hope this one gives a better understanding about which month you're born. But our current quiz is not based on the sun. It's about the Lagna. In your point of view, what is Lagna? Whatever answer
Time.
which comes.
The ascending star on the eastern horizon at the time of birth.
It's your time of your birth. Anybody want to add anything to it?
Okay. The Lagna, when Surya Sankramana occurs, that is on April 15th, for example, for Tamil New Year, the Lagna starts from the beginning. At sunrise, it will be at 0 degrees. And then the next day at sunrise, it will be roughly about 1 degrees and so on. So the Lagna at sunrise determines, you can easily predict Lagna based on the time of birth in a particular month. For example, if you are born in December 15th, at sunrise, it will, your Lagna will be in Dhanu Rashi, beginning of Dhanu Rashi, and so on. And then roughly it covers 2 hours. One Rashi is covered in 2 hours because 24 hours it has to come back to the same Rashi for the next day sunrise.
Anybody want to add more to this?
So irrespective of whatever is the time of birth, what time the sunrise happened that day, that indicates Lagna. Is that right?
That indicates Lagna on that particular day at sunrise. Okay. And it takes roughly about 2 hours to, cover the example. So for example, if you're born on January 1st, okay, that in January 1st, if a Rashi is roughly 30 degrees, it is 30 degrees, right? So for sun to cover one Rashi, it takes about a month or 30 days, correct?
Yeah.
So the Sankramana is the sun's position at the beginning of that Rashi. On a Sankramana day, I don't know if you're aware of the term Sankramana, Surya Sankramana. Makara Sankranti. Makara Sankramana is on January 15th, 14th, right? So Makara, when sun enters Makara Rashi, that is Makara Sankranti or Makara Sankramana. So the same way, when sun enters Mesha
Every
Rashi,
Rashi.
yeah, that is where Tamil New Year is. That is the beginning of the solar month. Okay. So it takes roughly 30 days. So for particular Rashis, it takes 32 days. For some other Rashis, it takes 31 days. And some, it takes 29 days to cover the Rashi. Although these Rashis are equally marked in 30 degrees, in the horizon, they are really not 30 degrees. I mean, there is a, rough calculation. So that's why it takes about 32 degrees, 32 days. Sometimes it takes 31 days. Sometimes it takes 30 days and 29 days. I think I had posted a shloka, which solar month has how many number of days, long time ago. So anyway, what the question you asked was at sunrise, wherever the sun is, that will be the beginning of, well, it's not the Lagna beginning, but that is how you start counting the Lagna from the sunrise. So
Our horoscope is the Lagna.
Considering
no,
you were born at one
Lagna
place.
is what you said, the rising Rashi at the time of birth. That is.
So that become our first house in our chart.
Correct. That's the Lagna of our chart.
Now
But
our chart is first house of our 12 houses.
I'm just telling how it is related to the time of birth.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you are born in December, and if your Lagna is in Mithuna, that means you were born around the sunset time.
Oh, okay.
Because the sun is in the west exactly around that time, sunset time. So it takes, considering 24 hours for a day, it takes roughly about 12 hours between sunrise and sunset. So if you're Lagna, when you're born, if the Lagna is in Mithuna and you're born in at sunset, that means you are born in the month of either December or January. That is December 15th through January 15th. Does it make sense?
Bit confusion, Mithuna means it. Mesha.
Okay,
is
if your Lagna is Mithuna, okay, if your Lagna is Mithuna and you're born at sunset, where do you think the sun is? Sunset. At sunset, what is horizon? What is at the eastern end? Sun is in the western end, right? Sun is setting. It is in the west. It's exactly opposite. So you see what I'm saying? You're born in you're born in the month of Dhanur Rashi. Sun is in Dhanur sign, Dhanus. Because at sunset, you are seeing Mithuna Rashi.
Okay, so
anyway,
you're
so
saying
that needs,
if you're born in Gemini and sunset, sun
Yeah.
will be placed exactly 180 degrees from Gemini, which is the
Correct.
Dhanus.
Correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
I got it. Okay, that's the logic. Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, whatever the time of birth, you look at in which direction the east points from there, and that would
Correct.
be your Lagna.
Lagna,
Okay,
yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
this clarity.
So that is what we call it as rising sun for that particular native's chart, right?
Yeah.
No, rising Rashi, not rising sun. Sorry. It's the
Rising
rising sign,
Rising
not the sun.
Rising sign at the time of birth.
Which is nothing but Lagna. So
Yeah.
No.
yeah, so let's not get confused. So we are just talking about Lagna. Lagna is nothing but whichever Rashi the sun was rising in the day you were born.
Correct. I just added the other points, like what time, you can
Correct.
think
Yeah,
of.
yeah. Right, yeah.
if you want to imagine, consider you are born at one particular longitude and latitude coordinates. That moment in the sky when the sun was pointing to the eastern horizon, that becomes your Lagna point. You remember in whatever the way which fits into your mind, but the rising sign when at the time of your birth, that becomes your ascendant or Lagna. This
So it is
much
What is rising sign?
the time of
Vinita,
our
what
birth.
is rising sign?
rising
What is
sign,
rising sign?
rising sign, ascendant, Lagna, all are same.
So at the time of our birth, which was the east horizon, that becomes our
your Lagna point.
ascendant and Lagna, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it. So to put it the other way, the first house in our chart will be our ascendant or the Lagna.
Yes. First house, Lagna, ascendant, rising sign of your birth chart, all are same.
Same. Okay.
Consider
Thank
it
you.
as one.
Got it.
Okay, now comes into the third question. Which are the Aries signs? I hope you all remember this because every time I show you the
Yeah.
Kalapur chart.
Gemini, Libra, and Aquarium.
Yes.
Not
Correct?
Gemini. Not Gemini.
Gemini is
Why?
Aries.
Gemini is air,
Aries?
no?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Gemini,
Yeah, okay.
Libra, and Aquarius. Correct. Okay,
And one
now
more. And one more, right? No, three more.
Why? More
Only
three
three.
only, right?
Three
Only
only,
three only.
because
Okay.
4 different types are there.
Yeah. Okay.
Fire, water, fire, earth, air and water. Fire, earth, air and
Correct.
water repeated. I will go for the watery signs. What are the watery signs?
Cancer,
Flexible.
Pisces, Scorpio.
Cancer,
Oh, you're
Scorpio.
talking the characteristics of watery sign.
Yeah, that are the watery signs. I agree. Characteristics.
Meena, Kataka, Vrishchika.
That are the signs. I agree. What are the characteristics?
Flexible.
Flexible.
Okay. Exactly not flexible. We call it as another word.
Manipulative.
They get manipulated by others.
Intuitive, actually, they're intuitive. They can assess the things well, is what I have made a note of us.
Correct. The intuition level is high because it was these people, if consider if it was in the Cancer, imagine who's the Cancer belongs to. Who's the owner of the Cancer?
Chandra.
Chandra, right? Chandra relates to your mind. So when it comes into your mind, then that becomes very emotional. And the Cancer, it's nurture. They try to nurture everything. Even they don't like to eat also, but they feed to everybody. Just like the characters.
They nourish everyone.
Yeah, they nourish everyone. They want to nourish not only them, whoever the peoples around them, they want to nurture everybody. And they are very sensitive. When it comes into the Vrikshika Rashi and then the Pisces, the water signs people are very sensitive. But when there are
Nurturing.
different people, even
Audio
though
is
they're common
freezing,
in
Vanita.
statistics, but there is a internal. What is it?
We lost you.
Audio froze for a little while when you were speaking.
Now also? Now
No,
how is that?
you're okay.
Now it's okay.
You're fine now.
Okay, now comes into here. Now comes into the characteristics. Emotional. Any other thing? Nurturing. Any other?
They are intuitive, emotional, nurturing.
Flexible.
Okay, flexible. Then?
Vinita, can we say diplomatic?
These people are not diplomatic for sure. It depends. It depends. Because when you become sensitive, the diplomatic goes away. And they are
So we are saying
oversensitive.
that in all the three signs, they're all the same or they're going to be different?
These are the general characteristics, but when comes into the Cancer, these peoples are sensitive, oversensitive. When it comes into Vrikshika, these peoples are hold their emotion for a very long time. They won't try to express anything. They hold for as long as they can. But once
Are
they
moody, moody and oversensitive?
Yes, for sure. When it comes into
Yeah.
Pisces, they are become oversensitive. Sometimes they are moody, but they won't hold the emotion that much inside them. They try to spread.
They are quite
Okay.
secretive, no?
Yes. Yes.
That's
Quiet.
Vrishchika.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Vrikshika. But the quiet won't match if the Graha was placed in it. That's a different story. Okay, let's move into fixed signs. What are the fixed signs?
Fixed signs are Taurus, Virgo, and
Rishabha,
Yeah, Taurus.
Rishabha, Leo, and
Leo.
Scorpio.
And Scorpio.
Hmm.
Scorpio.
Fixed signs, right?
Scorpio, yeah.
Saram Stiram Ubhayam, Saram Stiram Ubhayam. There are the 4 signs will
And
come.
Aquarius, 4 of them.
Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. In other words, Rishabha, Simha, Vrikshika, and Kumbha. All agree?
Yeah.
Fix it.
Now we'll come into what are Rahu and Ketu.
Shadow planets.
Hmm?
Shadow planets.
Shadow planets, okay.
Yeah.
Then
Aprakashika Graha. So they're intersection points of solar orbit and lunar orbit.
wonderful. Then okay, when your intercept point was happening, the solar mode and the lunar mode, which represent Rahu, which represent Ketu?
Northern end represents Rahu and southern end represents Ketu.
Ketu. That's awesome. Anything you want to add here?
These are the ones that cause Grahana. These are eclipses. They are responsible for eclipses.
There was one strict rule in the births or any kind of a natal chart. Wherever the Rahu was there, exact opposite only Ketu. If you see anywhere in the Ketu, then that becomes not a correct chart. Okay. Then we'll move into another thing. Rearrange okay, this question I also got confused and I asked them the clarification. I didn't receive. So I'm also not sure about what is this question is. So I skip this question for now. We'll move on to the 8th question. So if someone understand this question, anybody understand the 7th question?
I didn't understand. I don't know. They are saying rearrange.
Jupiter.
Yeah, I also asked the clarification on that. I'm also not
What
sure.
is inimical? I don't know.
Inimical means having the opposite quality of the friendliness.
Oh.
I'm also not sure. I asked them. We'll skip this question for now.
Yeah,
We'll move on
yeah,
to 8th.
sure.
Okay, here. You know about what are the malefic and benefic planets? Okay, now
Yes.
come into the Sun is the malefic or benefic?
Malefic.
Malefic.
Awesome. Jupiter?
Benefic.
Benefic.
Venus?
Venus benefic.
Benefic.
Saturn?
Malefic.
Malefic.
Malefic. Mercury?
Both actually.
Both. I
Yeah,
mean, it
here
is
comes
half
the
half.
twist. Mercury, when it was joined with the malefic planets, it becomes malefic. When joined
Yes.
with the benefic planets, it becomes benefic. Okay. Now comes into exaltation and
But
debilitation.
Vinita, what if Mercury is with one malefic and one benefic?
Okay,
Neutral.
when that
It is
that was
half-half.
it becomes depends. Okay, there was the different story here. Considered the Mercury was placed in between Jupiter and the Saturn. Okay, so here we have to understand what is the degree between these two. So that have the great influence when before we are telling the Mercury is going to malefic or benefic effects.
The degree between Mercury and each of them.
Which goes closer to which planet, which graha, that have the greater impact. So Mercury, it was just like that. It's like a sponge. Whoever next to it, it absorb like that. If the malefic planet was next to it, next to the Mercury, it absorb all the qualities from him. Mercury is when it was next to the benefic, it absorbed the benefics from him.
What if it is
So,
by itself in a Rashi?
what is that?
What if Mercury is by itself in a Rashi, like in mine? It's in Cancer, but Sun is in Gemini. So what if Mercury is by itself in a Rashi.
It's alone.
Okay,
Alone.
without any, oh, that's a good one. Okay, if it was not anybody with around him, it becomes a benefic only.
Okay.
On its basic.
If it is on its own, it won't have any kind of a grahas around it or associate with it, then it is a benefic one.
What
But
if it is
again,
aspected by malefic?
then that effect will come. Okay,
Okay.
that's why I always say the answer is all the time it becomes partial. Why? Because there are the other points you have to consider here. If it was expected by malefic, then definitely the malefic effects will come. There was a wonderful thing also will come when the Jupiter was aspecting the alone Mercury, the super effect will come. And again, the Mercury which is set on the house of the Cancer, that is the moon. Moon is an enemy to the Mercury, but for moon, Mercury is it's not an enemy.
Neutral.
So that kind of the relationship also we have to consider. So at this point, consider the Mercury. Only one point, remember, if it is along with the malefic, it becomes. Along with the benefic, it becomes benefic. Remember this one simple point. Later on, when we are moving into the lessons, when we are seeing the chart, we modify whatever this thought process only.
So Rahu and Ketu are malefic, no, madam?
Yes, yes.
Rahu and Ketu are
Yes, for
malefic.
sure. Yeah. Okay, the malefic also two different malefics. Rahu will give you all the things you want, but destroy at the end. Ketu, let go with everything. You don't want to anything. It goes towards the knowledge. It's a jnanakar. We'll come into the ninth question. Exaltation and the debilitation sign. For the Mars,
Okay.
which is the exaltation Rashi,
Makara,
Oh,
Makara. Which is the debilitation?
opposite. Kataka.
opposite, right? Kataka.
Kadaka. Once you remember the exaltation, what is the trick here? Exactly remember the seventh point.
Diagonally opposite.
Diagonal, exactly seventh. Wherever the exaltation point, count from that seventh becomes your debilitation point. Okay, now Saturn. In
Libra
which place
and
Saturn?
Mesha.
Libra and Mesha.
and
Awesome.
Mesha.
Jupiter. Jupiter exalted
and Kataka.
Tula, Kataka.
Kadaka. The debilitated in
Makara.
Kunga.
Awesome.
Makara.
Own house. Okay, now we'll move on to the 10th question. Own house for the Venus, Sun, and the Moon. Venus owns how
Vrishabha
many
and Tula.
houses? Rishabha and Tula. Awesome. Sun?
So Leo, some
Only one
Simha.
house. Simha.
Only
Only
one
Leo.
house.
Only Leo.
Okay, awesome. Simha. Then Moon?
Kataka. Kataka.
Cancer. Awesome. Then the last question. Where is
Cancer.
Jupiter placed currently in the zodiac? I mean,
Vrishabha.
Vrishabha.
What is, I didn't understand. Currently means what today it is? What you are talking?
today was Charum.
As per today's chart, where is
As per
Jupiter?
today's chart. When you are, we
Today.
remember we have this homework to see the
But
Gocharam for every day.
moon. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Okay. Anybody writing this zodiac diary? I ask you to do that for an experiment.
Earlier I was doing, yeah.
How is that? Is that matched with
So
you?
you're telling it is telling. Wherever the moon is there, on that day it is very good.
And
I just
particularly
noted.
from your Lagna, you have the 8th house, right?
Yes.
On your 8th house, when the moon was traveling in the Gochara, understand how your mind was doing. But
Yeah.
don't get, you want to see how your mind do when the days was finished so that you won't get influenced with anything. Okay, this is about our today's quiz. Anybody have any doubts or you want to revisit the question one more time? No?
So the last question that you said, that is to monitor based on the moon's position in the chart, right? Not from
Okay.
Lagna.
Okay, wait a second. I will show you that also. Give me a second. What I told you to do as a horoscope diary, it's a kind of this one. Give me a second. That is stop sharing for me. Okay, this is the today's chart, right? This is the today's chart. So what I asked you to do was, then now the Chandra was in the Meena Rashi. So from your Lagna, understand where the Chandra was traveling. Okay, imagine you from your Lagna, not in the Gochara Lagna. From your
Correct.
Lagna,
Yeah.
where the Chandra was traveling. Considered Dhanush Lagna. Okay, from the Dhanush Lagna, Gochara Chandran was traveling in the 4th house, on your 4th house. So you have to see at this 4th house, which are the planets was there at the time when the Chandra was traveling, how you are behaving. And there was the two more things you have to be understand. When the Gochara Chandran is traveling on your Janana Jataka Chandran, find the difference. This is the troublesome day for you. More than the 8th house, when the Gochara Chandra traveling on your 8th house. Okay, now let's have this exam. Stop this minute. I again go to the PowerPoint. Consider this. Let's go with I go with 7, 8. Okay. Imagine I have a simulator. So now find the which house is the 8th house here.
Meena.
For this chart, imagine my Meena is the 8th house. And this is the Gochara Chandran traveling on the 8th house today. Now imagine the Gochara Chandran is also on the 8th house, and just an imagination. In your chart also, 8th house is having a Chandra. Okay, then that means first thing, Chandra over Chandra. That is also give you a lot of trouble. And if the 8th on your 8th house over Gochara Chandra, this is also give you the next trouble that is more than your Chandrashtam. Just find out which house when the Chandra was traveling, you will get more trouble. This is an interesting story, but don't get paranoid about this. But this will be an interesting when this Chandra was moving one Rashi to another Rashi, and you have to be vigilant which Rashi in your Janana Jataka. So consider if there was no Rashi in it. This is the Gochara chart. And imagine I have a chart like this. Now I have the Lagna here. Imagine I have no planet here, but the Gochara Chandran was traveling here. This moment, find out how your mind moves go through for the entire. This will be a smooth day for you. But imagine when the Rahu was here. This is your Janana Jatakam. This is your Janana Jatakam, and this is the Gocharam. How you have to compare? This is your Janana Jatakam, that whatever the Graha which is placed in your chart, when the Chandra was going on your the Gocharam, find the relation. How your mind will be. If imagine now the Meena Rashi Chandra was here, considered in my Janana Jatakam, I also have the Chandra. This will be the real trouble will come. And imagine when the Chandra was moved in the Gochara Chandra moved into here, now this becomes my 9th house, right? How my mental health will be. Then find out the difference. So when it was in the 8th house, how you are feeling. When it was in the 9th house, how you are feeling. Why I ask you to consider it only on the Chandran? Because the Chandra relates with your moon. And wherever the Chandran in your chart, that resembles your exact your mind energy.
So what
when
if
the
it is
moon,
in the Lagna, which is a
okay,
Meena Lagna today?
okay, now it was in the Meena Lagna. It's in the first house, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
first house.
it won't give you the much trouble, but when it was comes into the Chandra over, okay, in the Meena Lagna, you have any graha in it?
No. Right now, today Gochara, birth Lagna is Meena, but Chandra is in Meena today along with Rahu. How do you say? What do you think? What do you say?
Okay. When the Chandra and the Rahu was here, one interesting thing I wrote was this people, they no need to go to the hospital. I don't know, you have this kind of the habit. In my city, they have that. If they feel sick, they will go to the any of the mosque or the temple. They tie the knot around the hand or around the neck. They will immediately they come back to the normal state. When the Rahu and Chandran was in the Lagna, this remedy was suited very well for them because the Rahu imitates. You don't have any sickness, but the Rahu tells you you have the sickness. Any kind of the sickness which is not there, kind of an illusion, it's given by the Rahu only. You feel that there wasn't you are not good. There is something my body was doing something. I feel sick, but when you go for a checkup head to toe, you don't find anything. Then that is the energy given by the Rahu only. This is the kind of simple remedy what they will do. They go to the temple and the priest will give you the one kind of the knot for the health only. They tie around the hand or around the neck. They come back to the normal state immediately. Initially, when I saw this, I was really sad, but this helps them a lot. But when it comes into Chandra and the Rahu, their mother becomes not in a good mind state. Or they may become when the Chandra and Rahu combination is not that much good, especially when it was in the Lagna. They have to be careful with their mind because their mind will things exaggeratedly. Whatever they want to do in a very big way. But when comes into the health, with a simple remedy will help them.
So it will be
The
there for
Chandra,
another 6 to 8 months, the same position. Rahu will be in Meena for another 8 months or 9 months, or maybe a year.
Consider this Chandran will move in 1 or 2 days. When the
Correct.
Chandra
So
was here,
yeah.
then the Rahu which is alone in one Rasi, it won't give you that much trouble.
Correct. Now, what I'm saying is every month it will come, like for the next 9 months or 10 months, that situation. Yeah.
Exactly the
But
same.
I don't feel anything though. I mean, I haven't, luckily I don't have any such things, but it's interesting.
Okay, but there is a difference. When the child was born, this is your Gochara Chandran for you. You don't have anything in your Lagna, right? But the child which is born with this chart, considered this child was born in the today June 2 and the 15-16 time. Definitely, this is the birth chart for that kid. If the same location was there. If there was if this location was not there, then the Lagna going to be different. Then this becomes a different house for him. That is a total different story. If the Rahu was present in the 6, 8, and the 12th house, the effect will be very less. So the probability of the combination will be huge, right? So you no need to worry about whether the sun, whether Chandran was coming into this place or not. Don't worry, because when the Rahu moves into the next Rasi, the same kind of the situation will come. The Chandra anyway going to be round one Rasi to the another Rasi every 2.4 days. But the situation will be different. The probability is entirely different. Otherwise, you and me will have the same, not only you and me, everybody will have the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody becomes unique because of this kind of the probability was huge. You can't even understand how many probabilities was here. Okay, why am I?
Vanita, what I've observed, when the moon is coming in the particular our Rashi, that days are very, very good days, I felt. So what you are telling, if Chandra, as per the birth chart also in the same day, suppose in that Chandra, double Chandra is there, then problematic it is?
No,
Suppose.
that's I ask you to experiment. If the Chandra was over Chandra, what is your mind? If the Chandra is on your 8th house, if the Gochara Chandran on your 8th house, how is your mind will be? Even if you are not able to find out the Chandra for every day, at least find out these two. You got this point?
Yeah, okay.
But based on my experience, what I understood was when the Chandra over the Chandra, it's easy for me. When the Chandra is over the 8th one, somewhat difficult.
Okay.
But if for me, Chandra is in my 8th and
Chandra?
sorry. For me, in my Jataka, Chandra is in the 8th. So when Chandra, Gochara Chandra is in the 8th house, I think it is good actually if it goes through my Rashi, my Nakshatra, my Rashi.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. That's why I ask you to find out. Somebody will find, because the nakshatra will plays a role. If there was the parivartana was happening, whatever which I am telling, it won't happen for you. But that's why I ask you to find out every day when the Chandran was placing over one Rashi to the another Rashi, find out the difference. Definitely there was a 1 point, or at least sometimes you feel upset, right? Any one of the day, touch wood, you won't feel upset. Sometimes you feel upset on any one of the day. That time, go and see the Gocharam. Chandra will where it was placed and compare against your Jarana Jataka. Then make that a note of it anywhere where you can easily revise. So there's some days later on, you may get upset one more time. Then come back again with the Gocharam, compare against with the Janana Jatakam. Then whatever the notes you took earlier, compare against each other. You form the, you will have the good amount of the quality of data in your hand. But this is also can be overcome in a different process. But this one it's a kind of a play.
So
yeah, someone,
from our Lagna, 8th house we have to see, correct?
From your Lagna?
8th house we have to see if Chandra is there.
Yeah. If the Chandra, you can see every day also. But what I insist to see, wherever your 8th house, if the Gochara Chandran was there on that day, find out your day, how it was.
Okay.
Or if the Chandra over Chandra, find out the how are you feeling? What kind of the emotion you are going through? Find out that.
Okay.
Okay.
If Chandra is there in the particular Rashi at the same day, Gochara.
Chandra.
You see this either in the same Rashi of a native. Suppose,
In your Janana Jatakam also, your Chandra is in the Meena, and the Gocharam is also in the Meena. You are asking that, right? Yeah, that's why I asked you to do the first one.
Okay.
If your Chandra and the Gochara Chandra is in the same Rashi, find out that. And from your Lagna, 8th house, when the Gochara Chandran was moving, that is also make a note of it.
Okay.
This will give you a different kind of a feeling. So suppose in case if you don't concentrate on the Chandra, or at least whichever day you are most happiest, find out the Gocharam first. Then compare against with the Janana Jataka. Okay, how I find it interesting was when okay, that will give you a different story. Okay, fine. I finished this homework until here. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. We'll start the Babas today. Okay, you asked me to revise, right? Okay, at least we'll start the revision. I will quickly go through with at least for 5 minutes. Then we will finish with the next class. We'll have the full revision of whatever we learned. Then from the 1 week later, we'll start with the Babas. Okay, I quickly go through that. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me a second. Let's mention 2. I'll take 5 more minutes only. We'll finish as soon as possible. Because I have to open. earlier I didn't have a plan to start the revision. Okay. That's not only. The first 2 weeks, it was from the third week. The first 2 weeks we say what is astrology and horoscope, that's it. And now it comes into where the astrology was applied in the modern world. Astrology was applied in every field wherever you know. Our day-to-day also, the astrology was applied. Okay. Now comes into the zodiac belt. The zodiac belt is the exactly how the grahas was placed. Imagine you are standing in the earth, and on your top of the sky, there is the amount of the sky which is occupied your head. How the planetary position was placed in the galaxy or in a celestial world. How the planets was placed. So the zodiac belt will be described earlier also. Okay, well, wait, I will show you from here. Okay, the zodiac belt is nothing but the group of nakshatras formed together. They formed as one family. Then from that stars, the rishis considered only the prominent stars together. They formed the one own energy. Why they took only the prominent stars? Because they understood from the stars only the earth they will get impacted. Even though they have the numerous stars in the celestial world, it won't comes into the earth. The energy won't come to impact any of the human. Then they took the prominent stars. It forms one pattern, and they make it as in 30° for the convenience of the 360° pattern. Then on the whole, it becomes one full circle. It starts from the Eri, Mesha, Shubha, Miduna, Kadaka, Simha, Kanni, Tula, Vrikshaka, Dhanush, Makara, Kumbha, Meena, the 12 Rashis. So the Rashis is nothing but group of the stars formed together and they form one pattern. Okay? So imagine this becomes your zodiac belt. Then at the time of your born, okay. At the time of your born, wherever the graha was placed, that was pointed in your horoscope. Okay. Now come back to what are the things the human will think of their lifestyle, their politics, environment. Okay, wait. They want to identify what kind of the karma I born with and what can I achieve, how can I live peacefully, and is whatever the health problems which I have, it will go away or not. Is there any luck in my life, or when will I will get my job? There's so many questions we'll have, right? They will get a kind of an answer. As Dr. Kenny would said, it's not a futurology. It's kind of not a predictology also. Don't predict. It's a kind of analyzing our chart against the Gocharam, whatever the things which we can understand to on the umbrella of welfare of our everybody. Okay. What are the things we have in our hand?
Vinita, please define the word Gocharam.
Oh, Gocharam. Oh my God. Wait a second.
Gochar, nothing but grahachar, the movement of grahas.
Yeah.
Today, okay, when every time the moon and the planets were surrounding, right? How when you are born at the time, you also have a chart. This moment when you are speaking each other, this moment is also this the planet is revolving, right? At this time also we can get a snapshot of the sky. That is your Gocharam. The Gocharam is nothing but at this moment what is the planetary position. For today, what is the planetary position? You got this point?
Yes.
Okay, let me show that to you. Okay, finish. Okay, wait. Did you see the chart? This is the today's one. Today's one means at the moment when this moment when we are speaking today's chart, this one.
Yes, I saw. Thank you.
This point, which I am highlighting, this is the today's chart. When we say Kocharam means the daily planetary position. Okay, the same chart is not the same for yesterday. The same, there is a different chart for tomorrow. For every day, you have a different chart. We'll see the previous one. So this is the previous one chart. June 1st chart. June 1st chart, the Kocharam will be different. The Chandra was still, okay, let's take a landmark of the Chandra. Chandra was in the Meena. Okay, now I go into 1 day previous. Now see, the Chandra was in the Kumbha. When the May 31st, Chandra was in the Kumbha. When you see in the June 1st, Chandra was in the Meena. It will stay here for 2 days, 2 days. So once the Chandra will finish the 2 days, 2 days, it moves into another Rashi. Like that, it wise moves around, right? Same goes for Sunny also. Sunny once finished 2.5 years, it moves to next one. Rahu also goes. 18 months it finished, it moves into next Rashi. The same goes for everybody. So the Guru will stay here in one Rashi for 1 year, 12 to 13 months. Okay. Buddhan will go 20 to 25 days. Same goes for every Rashi. That's why we learned about how many days the Graha will stay in one Rashi. Sun takes 1 month, Moon takes 2.25 days, and Mercury 20-25 days, Venus 25 to 30, and another one, Mars will take 40 to 45 days, Guru will take 1 year, Ketu and Rahu will take 18 months, Shani will take 2.5 years. So altogether, based on that, the movement of the planet will be defined. This one clear? Kocharam is nothing but daily planetary position. Today, what is the planetary position? Your horoscope is also one time it was the daily planetary position. This one you will understand, right? At the time of your birth, that is the planetary position of that day when you are born. This is clear?
Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay. I will finish with this one PowerPoint only. We'll move on into the next. Okay, I will revise only the important one. Okay, for the astrology, what are the things in our hand? We have the Janana Jatakam. We know how to interpret based on the astrological knowledge. Okay, where it was applied. Medical science, personality development, human resource management also. Most of the time, what we are understanding, when you are seeing the medical astrology, you can easily identify what kind of the problem the person will come across, at what age, which body part is going to affect, and how long it will be persist. It is going to be cured by the medicine or not, or it is the lifelong for them, or it will be just small disease, or it's need a surgery. Everything can be identified through the medical astrology. Okay, that's why we know that this is the important thing you have to memorize all the time. Mesha represents your head, Vrikshaba represents your neck and the throat, and Mithuna represents your lungs and the arms and the shoulder. Cancer represents your chest and the breast and the stomach. Stomach means Leo represents your upper stomach, upper back also, and the heart. Virgo, your abdomen and the digestive system. Tula, your kidney and the lumbar region. Scorpio, genital. Sagittarius, hips and the thighs. Capricorn, knees and the bones. Aquarius, calves, shins and the ankles. Pisces, feet. This one you have to be remember all the time. Okay, this one, how they. This one, that's it. We'll move into. Okay, that will take time. We'll have the revision of the next class also. After that, we'll move into the powers. Position of all planets at the time of it's a question or you give an answer
No,
to
no,
the
this was for answer for the first question. Long ago,
Oh.
beginning of the class.
Oh.
Yeah,
I just now I
Yeah.
saw just now.
no problem.
Okay,
Correct.
we'll have the next class as the revision, then we followed by followed by the next week we'll start the new classes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay then. We'll see you all next week then.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Vanita.
Vanita.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Vanita.
God
Thank you.
Thank you.